Good morning, walkers, and welcome to Seward, Alaska. We are going to start our walk this morning at the Alaska Sea Life Center. This is down by the harbor, which we'll see in a little bit, and in the bay, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. We have a mix of weather. Let me turn you around here. My name is Henry, and as always, I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide as we explore together Seward, Alaska. We've been here for a couple days, and so I can share a little bit of knowledge, but mainly it's going to be exploring and maybe looking some stuff up on my phone as we go. So off we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. As I said, we're starting off at the Alaska Sea Life Center here in Seward. We just went in there. It's a little pricey, but definitely very cool to see. Seward is a population of, well, let me say this. It's 48 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it's 9 degrees Celsius, and 11:30 a.m. and mid-September. And hopefully you've seen some of our other walks so far here in Alaska. And I think this is our fourth one. We're going to go down here, just show you the bay before we go into the, sort of this old town center. I've heard a lot of information about Seward in the last few days, and hopefully I'll be able to remember most of it. We got a population, I think, of about 3,000, maybe a little less. That's year-round and more in the summer. Hi there. As tourism starts, fishing, and that sort of thing. We have done a couple cool things on Sunny Cove kayaking tour we did the other day. It was amazing. Saw seals and sea otters and salmon and all sorts of fun stuff, some porpoises. Then we did a Kenai Fjords tour yesterday and saw whales and glaciers and more sea otters and orcas and all kinds of cool stuff, seals and sea lions and huge waves. Look at these mountains. So this to the right here is pretty much south, and then off to the west here is a peninsula. And this is Resurrection Bay or Resurrection Cove, I think. If you look out there and you keep an eye on the water, you'll see some salmon jumping. We're at the end of the run here. But you can see, I think that's not the mountain. Over here is Marathon Mountain. We got a little bit of rain today. Hopefully it won't play too much havoc with us. On July 4th, they have a 5K run straight up that mountain, the peak you see there, and back down. And I'm going to pass on doing that. So let's head into Old Town. Seward, I think, was founded in 1903. I don't remember exactly the details of why, but I think it had something to do with coal or settler. Oh yeah, they wanted to supply the gold rush nearby, and a guy tried to build a railroad, got about 35 miles done before he ran out of cash. Eventually, I think in 1914 or something, they built a rail line. The federal government built a rail line from Anchorage. Lots of murals here, very cool public art. You guys know how much I love murals, so I'll be showing you a few of those. A lot of stuff has already shut down for the season. We're at the end here, and partly because September is the rainiest month. They have here about 10 inches of rain in September, total of 68 over the course of a year. That's like almost 6 feet of rain. So this is 4th Avenue and Railway Avenue. And we're just gonna walk up this way, back down, and then we'll walk along the shore to the other half of Seward, which is where the port is and the marina and where a lot of the tours, the big fjord tours go from. You can see these whales here. And there's a Seward Mural Society project. This was in 2019. We've got another mural over there. A lot of tourist towns this year, the restaurants and stores and coffee shops are all a little short-staffed, so they have varying hours. A lot of them are closed on Tuesday and Wednesday, we found out the other day. The Seward Brewing Company is closed for the season, so we didn't get to try that. We did go out to the Resurrection River Roadhouse. They had some good local beers out there, and some snacks. Didn't eat, just had some fries. This is 4th and Washington. So off to the left is kind of the main drag, and then this is the quieter old part of town. You can see the mountains reaching up into the distance. So people see kayaking. If you get if you come here and you get a chance, highly encourage you to take one of the tours. They are a little expensive, but so worth it. You learn so much, you see so much. It's really cool. I'm gonna have to, from time to time, I don't actually have a napkin or anything to wipe this screen with, so hopefully it's not too bad. The Showcase Lounge is kind of definitely an older establishment, but I like these kind of cool old buildings back towards the the turn of the century, the first century. It's funny, I've gotten to the age now where turn of the century means something else than it does to my kids. I'm going to give a quick wipe. This, you'll see a lot of Go Lydia Go. So she medaled, I think got a gold in swimming in the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics this year, and there are signs everywhere. They are super proud of her, as well they should. I've heard, we were told the Ale House, Seward Ale House, has a lot of good beers, not kid accepting. Looks a little stabby, but who knows? This is the Lone Chicarone Taqueria. This is the Starboard Studio Art Gallery, some cool stuff in here. And then the Sea Bean Cafe, which is kind of a coffee shop, I think. Across the way, we've got a couple of restaurants and gift shops, that sort of thing, and some more murals. Sorry. Kind of a used, nearly new shop. Here's the Sea Bean coffee shop. But we're going to cross over real quick. I want to show you the murals. Sort of a historical reprints of photos. Those are kind of fun. And then over here, this is the Ranting Raven, which I believe is a quilting shop. And over here, you've got the Apollo Restaurant, which is closed, I think, and then the Frontier Trading Post. Over across the way, you have the Van Gilder Hotel. I don't know how to say this, Kawabe Park, and the Highliner restaurant behind that. Here we have Fifth Avenue Fitness, a little pocket park in there, and another mural over here that we'll go see. And then this is the Frontier Trading Post, which has sort of organic health food, espresso, teas, that sort of thing, and it is actually for sale. So if you need a business in Seward, that would be a good one. Maybe. Another mural. You can see it's just really right here in the mountains. Some public restrooms. and then sort of the rugged looking Liberty Theater, which I have to guess is not really showing theater movies at the moment. Now, I thought it was, here's another Go Lydia. The bank. I kind of assumed Seward was like bosun or gunnel was an abbreviation of Seaward, but it's named after a guy named Seward, which I actually haven't looked up. Hi there. You can see the mountains across the way and a little bit of a glacier in there. There are glaciers all over the place. Of course, we're at Kenai, I think it's Kenai Glacier National Park, the Kenai Fjords. I can't remember which one it is at the moment. Coming up on Church Street, there's an actual church, and then I believe, yeah, to the left is the Coffee House and Art Gallery, which is a former church. We have not tried there because it was closed. And I hear an eagle, sounds like. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I'm gonna, in that antenna tower over there, there's a bald eagle getting kind of cranky. So we're gonna go up another block. This is Church Street, Church and 4th. This is the Seward Memorial United Methodist Church. Resurrection Bay, and there's a Resurrection River that comes out of, or goes up towards Exit Glacier. Resurrection, of course, this used to be owned by the Russians back in the prior to 1863 or 1864. Before Seward's Folly, organized the purchase of it for, I think, 2 cents an acre. Russians knew they couldn't really hold out against the Brits and the Americans and other contenders in the race for empire. So they decided to sell it and make some money. This is Jefferson Street we're coming up to, and across the way is the Peking restaurant. So we forgot. I'll swipe this with my mask again here. Got another church. I don't know which church that is up there at the corner of Jefferson and 3rd. Here's another mural, the Iditarod Trail. The Iditarod starts here. Pardon me. Let me re-say that. The original Iditarod Trail starts here, apparently, and the first mile is here in town. There's a little walking trail you can follow, and we're going to kind of follow it in reverse, I believe, as we head down Jefferson to the bay, the waterfront. But we're going to make a right on 5th, go down to the old depot. I think it's the old depot. And swing back around and come back up to the waterfront. So it might end up being a fairly long walk, which I'm looking forward to. So you can see the weather, I think, really takes a toll on these buildings, on everything, really. A lot of rain, a lot of cold, and a lot of wind. There's a thrift store. I haven't walked down 5th yet. But we'll check it out. Up here we'll pass a couple different hotels that I will point out. Look at these mountains, man. They're just such a dominant feature of this area. There's apparently there's a maximum security prison back in that valley. Man, what a dreary place to be imprisoned. Guess if you can't do the time, don't do the crime, as they say. Oh, our eagle friend, barely see him up there. It's at the top of this tower. Apparently, there's an eagle just on the right side of the top. He's not falling for my tricks. There's eagle nests every quarter mile along the shore of the bay. They have such good habitat here. Of course, the salmon come in to the bay to run up the rivers to reproduce. So they have, especially this time of year, after they die after they spawn. This is the City of Seward building. Anyway, they die, so they have all this protein that comes back down. Easy pickings for all kinds of animals. As I mentioned, we saw quite a few, what do I call them? Sea otters. Got too many thoughts rolling around in my brain. They are the coolest thing I've seen so far, I think, by far. We saw a moose the other day, that was cool, but I've never seen one before, and I just think they're cool. Here's a mural to Alaska Aviation in Seward. I'm not going to get too close, but you get the idea. Cool. There's some big mossy moose antlers across the way. A building, looks like an older building. Show you those. So the Alaska flag, apparently, they got their statehood in 1959. Apparently, they had a contest to design the flag, and an orphan boy from, I can't remember where he was from, but he designed the flag. I think he was like 14 or something. This is the Hotel Seward, which looks pretty schmancy. I haven't been in, but it looks nice. I didn't say this at the beginning. I have tried to do this a little more, but please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. It does help me out. Like the video if you do like the video, and of course comment with your thoughts or your suggestions or memories or tales of your own Alaskan adventures. I love hearing that stuff. I do read them, and I try to respond to every one of them. It's the Cookery Restaurant, apparently. And over here is the Best Western Plus. Looks like a decent place. I didn't mention we're on 5th. We're coming back to Washington. Washington and Railway, I think. Straight ahead you can see Zootie's Cafe and Primrose Provisions in looks like an old railroad depot. I'm not sure about its provenance or origins. And to the right of that is where we started at the Sea Life Center, but we're going to come down here and make a left. Look at that cool old building. And as we do so, you'll start to see a lot more RVs and camper trailers and that sort of thing. Hopefully this is going to get... I keep having to peek at the screen. I don't want you guys to have to look through droplets too much. This is, of course, some great views from those upper floors of the Best Western Plus. But we're going to get on the bike path, and as we follow the bike path, and there's a good view of the bay, and this is a statue to Jujiro Wada, Iditarod Trail pioneer, 1875 to 1937. There's an information sign there. I don't know much about him or the Iditarod, to be honest with you, other than it's a sled dog race and started when they were trying to get medicine for a cholera epidemic up to Nome. So that big white roof building apparently is the shipyard over there. And then up the valley is the prison that I mentioned. Oh yeah, I just saw a sign for emergency siren information and I forgot to point out the siren. But one of the big things here are earthquakes and of course tsunamis. I mentioned this in my Anchorage, one of my Anchorage walks, but in 1964 I think it was, they had a second largest earthquake ever recorded at 9.2, lasted about, I've heard 3.5, I've heard 4, I've heard 4.5 minutes, and did all kinds of crazy damage. This is the beginning, 1903, the steamer Santa Ana arrived in Resurrection Bay. I don't know if I mentioned Resurrection. The name Resurrection comes from the translation of the Russian for Easter. So, there's a sled dog in order of George Ray Wiley. And I mentioned, oh, look at this place. I don't know what this is, if it's a home or if it's a lodge. It's pretty big. The apartments, I guess. I don't know. Anywho. So, you got the Resurrection Bay, Resurrection River. Come from that. See the mountains rising up 3,000 to 4,000 feet in this area above sea level, which compared to a lot of places in Alaska that reach up into, I think, Denali's at, I'm not even going to guess it. So here's the National Historic Trail, the Iditarod. You know, the tallest mountain is in North America is Denali, but I think you start higher, much higher up. So I can tell you, we climbed about 3,000 feet in 4 miles the other day to get up to the Harding ice field, and it was steep. Look at these mountains, you guys! Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we're doing a traveling mail video, and we'll have some of our tour from yesterday. The waves that we came through, I can't remember if I got good footage of them, the seas were pretty exciting, shall we say. It was very cool. So this is a, looks like a depot, but I think it's just a picnic pavilion, enclosed, and a playground that is not being used. I was told, one of our tour guides said that after the earthquake, a lot of the seafront had sort of been flooded or fallen, and so rather than rebuild on it, they turned it all into park. You can see some of a little skate park and playground, another mural, and then some houses back there. Oh, I can see a tour boat going out now. they're going to have an exciting time today. But the waves were pretty rough for a little bit of it, but man, was it worth it. Such a cool experience. Off to the left we have a campground, I believe. Part of a campground. There's a tour boat going out. I believe our tour boat was bigger than that, but not by too much. See the ruins of an old pier. I think after this little bush, we're going to see the port and the marina, and I'll duck over to show you more of the neighborhood, the residential area. And then, of course, we'll end up at the port and marina. Seward is, I think, the closest deep water port to Anchorage. Anchorage is not a deep water port, which is another reason they wanted to build a port here in the early 1900s, so they could get out coal and other supplies to Asia and others. There's the remnants of looks like of a boat ramp or pier or something. And then you got, we're going to duck up, but campground, which is pretty bare bones, mainly for RVs, I believe, campers, but they do have tent spaces. And as you can see over here, you can get under the trees, but you get a little shelter from the rain. And then there are, of course, hotels and VRBOs. We're staying at a VRBO. And even a couple hostels. There's one called the Rocket House, and a little further out along the bay. And of course the train ends up here. The tourist train ends up here still. There's a nice house. A couple of them. There's a little crow. Doing a little crow hop. I'll talk about it maybe a little later, but the parking up on the newer section of town by the port, there is a free lot, a lot of timed parking, but there's also a paid lot, the south lot, and you can either go to the stand they have out there, or you can pay with an app called Pay by Phone, which I've used in other places and is a handy little app to have. It's $10 for a day, so not the cheapest, but not too bad. People, late season campers out here. Apparently this was full over Labor Day. Obviously this is the Resurrection South campground. And this is Waterfront Park. Looks like you could park for free here on the street if you don't have an RV. This is Madison Street off to the left, pardon me. And we are on, apparently, a different road than I thought. We're on Baleine, or Baleine, I guess is probably what that is. Boulevard, Baleine, B-A-L-L-A-I-N-E. There's another tourist boat. And of course, Baleine is a feature of whales that filter feed. They strain out krill and other small prey. Some better view of the mountains off to the left. And some houses. I wouldn't say that Seward is really a resort community. They've got a lot of cool features, a lot of lodges, I think, in the area, but not really a spa kind of place. Not a lot of fancy beach houses or that sort of thing, which is a little surprising, honestly, but cool as well. I'm going to duck back here to the water. So the 5 types of salmon, I was told, there's like a 5-finger system for remembering them. Pink for pinky. Silver for your ring finger, silver. Middle finger is king. Pointy finger, index finger is sockeye, poke somebody in the eye, and then thumb is chum. Salmon. So, if anybody ever needs to know that, I'd never heard that before. That was kind of clever. Oh, interesting. This campground is online reservation only. cityofseward.us. I guess with phones now you can do that just about anywhere. Phone service, I have Verizon. It's been kind of spotty, but roaming, extended coverage or whatnot, and hopefully I don't get home and find out I've spent a bunch of money. But in any case, we're able to do it in most places, at least here in town. Helicopter goes out. You can take a lot of different helicopter tours out of Seward and also flight seeing tours. In fact, that glacier over there, I can't remember the name of it. I should be able to. You can take a helicopter tour up there and then go dog sledding up on the glacier, apparently. We'll see some people up here at this next campground as we're back on the Iditarod Historical Trail. They're out fishing along the bank. Here's one person. I'm not sure, there must be a good spot there, or maybe it's just close to their RVs. And of course you can see the port. We saw that ship that's there come in the day before yesterday. Nice flowers. This is, I guess, Brotherly Love Park. I apologize for the wind noise. You can see these. So the road north, it's not due north, but goes up that way. The Seward Highway. Okay, I mentioned some sort of sheltered tent sites across the street here. That's what I was referring to. You got a lot of these spruce trees that will at least cut down on some of the force of the rain. You'll probably get dripped on still, but a little bit of shelter. And then this is, again, I mentioned Marathon Mountain. I believe that's it. I think I can see the path up there. It's a 5K, so they go up and down. Record 3,000 feet, and the record is, I think, 45 minutes or something like that. Brew Atoll. We'll go take a gander at these fishermen. Anglers, I guess, would be more appropriate. This is so beautiful, you guys. It is just stark and extreme and so impressive. Love it. You can see salmon jumping out there not far from where these people are fishing. My understanding was that once they started running, they stopped eating. But maybe they're not. They're going for the between run salmon. You know, they go out and they eat and feed for a couple of years before they come back to spawn. You can see these fire rings here. Got a dead kittiwake in there. That's the kind of bird. Looks like people come down here. Looks like a city park over there as well. People come down here, spend a while fishing. That'd be fun. There's lots of dead fish around. Here's an old dead skeleton. You can see that's pretty big. Put my boot next to it. Whoop. That's a size 13. So, US. Lots of other carcasses down here. I assume just washed up by the tide. So this will be the tide line. Huge tides here. You can see these. Oops. These guys, and they got the super sharp teeth in there. Very cool stuff. Stinks a little bit. Here's one. It's had some meat still on it, so maybe somebody caught that and filleted it. Here's another. This will be the last one I show you, but I'll give you a little better view. Try and get you up close to those teeth. I've got my camera pack on, so I can't bend over too far. You see that one jump? I'll try to remember to put, oh, look at them all go. They're going nuts out there. Very cool. So they must be using some sort of jig. Oh, I thought that guy had one. Oh, he does have one, maybe. Or maybe he's snagged on the ground. Oh, well. Look at him go. That must be kind of frustrating to see these things jumping right outside your lines. Oh, there's a seal out there too. I don't know if you can right about there. Little black bead. Boom. These guys are going nuts. Whoops. Try not to fall on my face while I watch. I just saw a porpoise fin too. Maybe that's a seal. Must be a seal. Look at all these folks out here. Oops. There's another seal, or maybe it's the same one. Two seals. So it's not the same one. Just kind of right there. I'll try and remember to put some arrows in there. I'll probably forget, but just sticking their heads up. They're harbor seals, apparently. They're really, looks like this guy has one on. He's gonna land one. Maybe we'll get, oh, look at him go. Whew. Very cool. That's a lot of food right there. Yep, put them in a smearsery. Looks harsh, but it's the best thing to do if you're gonna eat them. He's got two. There you go. This guy's got two over here. Oh, 3, 4, 5. Look at all these salmon. And of course, you know, a lot of these people are going to use these to eat this winter. Up here you have an eagle flying over. Juvenile bald eagle. Awesome. And I know looks a little cruel, but in my opinion, it's part of in this way at least, it's part of the natural order of things, the human animal. Not so much when they're dredging them out of the sea with huge industrial nets, but these folks are going to use these to survive the winter without, you know, not a lot. It's economically challenging up here, I think. So, oh, there's some. Let's go over here. We'll go across. Whew. Stinks. We're gonna look in the stream real quick because there's some salmon that have kind of completed their spawns. There's a lot of dead carcasses that are just floating up, and then there's some fins and that sort of thing. You can kind of see them down there in the water, and they look like they're rotting because they kind of are. They stopped eating. They've used up all the fat stores, and their bodies are just geared solely to reproduction at this point. And once that's done, they're done. Very cool. Got a lot of crows feasting on what I assume are salmon that have washed up dead. There's a lot of them, so maybe partially just left here by some anglers. But I think it's king salmon derby they have in the summer here, with a $10,000 purse for or top prize for the biggest salmon caught. Some apartment buildings. Hey, pup. And we're getting into the marina and port area of Seward. There's another tour boat going out. A lot of kittiwakes taking off there. I assume that's what those are. Kittiwakes are they look like a seagull. I was going to go up here. I guess I will. You can hear this loudspeaker going. Chock full of folks. If you have any questions about the town, or as I mentioned, any corrections about my reportage, please put it in the comments below. I will answer what I can, and hopefully someone else, if I can't, will speak up, somebody that knows better than me. Some nice homes up there on that bench, which my first thought was, oh my gosh, in an earthquake zone, that sounds like a terrible thing, but I think it's on bedrock up there. So maybe it's safer than it looks. So we're walking out of the South Harbor Uplands lot. Off to the left where that dog is barking, you can rent e-bikes. There's a fairly extensive bike trail that goes out towards Exit Glacier and Resurrection River. And that's the south lot I was mentioning where I've parked. This is another park. This looks like permitted parking maybe over here. Maybe not. Here's a boat ramp. I've seen a lot of people pulling their boats out, I assume for the winter. The thing's massive. It's a charter boat. AuroraCharters.com. There's a big rig. Just watch him come up. It's impressive. That is a big rig. All right. This is the Safari Lodge. Might be a cool place to stay overlooking the marina. And I'm just going to pop out here to this main drag, the name of which I have forgotten. But the Lighthouse Cafe and Bakery He's over there, looks pretty good. Here is the Kenai Fjords National Park Visitor Center. So it is Kenai Fjords, not Kenai Glacier. And that disc tower is the tsunami warning siren. This is closed for the summer, but at least a few days ago, the visitor or the ranger station at Exit Glacier was still open. You couldn't go inside, but they had rangers there to answer questions, hand out maps, that sort of thing. Getting wet on our lens again. Wipe that off for you. Pardon me. All right. Lots of interesting informational stuff. Goodness, Lydia Jacoby. This is a place to weigh your catch up here. Some public places to fillet and clean your catch out there. And we're not going to go out on the docks, but we are going to go this way. Hi there. See all the boats out there. I assume they'll have to be pulled before it freezes up. I don't know if that's true. Alaska Northern Outfitters here. These kind of different charter companies, adventure companies, all these sort of things. Glacier Coffee. Roar Charters is closed. I think we just saw them pull their boat out, so that makes sense. You can see, looks like, some charter boats out there, tour boats. Kenai Fjords Wilderness Lodge, Sunny Cove Sea Kayaking, that's where we went, who took us sea kayaking. It was, again, so cool, so fun. We did the family version, very low impact. We paddled, got out, walked around, saw a waterfall, took another hike, ate some lunch, paddled back. Saw some really cool stuff. All right, so I'm going to go out here. You can see the Breeze Inn Motel, True Value, sort of the basic stuff here. They do have a Safeway grocery store outside of town. Kenai Fjords Tours, owned by Pursuit. They're the people with whom we did the tour yesterday. Very awesome tour. Amazing. I can't recommend it highly enough. This is a free lot, actually. I don't know if there's a time limit on it. See again these mountains. And look at that. Amazing stuff, isn't it? And then you've got a bunch of commercial fishing boats up here. And I made a comment about industrial fishing that implied that it was not acceptable or something, or didn't approve of it. And that's not the case. It's the wanton harvesting that depletes stocks without any kind of thought that I object to. I'm sure most of these people are operating, all of them are operating under the Alaskan regulations, which hopefully are based on science and study. Don't want to upset too many people. Ray's Waterfront. All right. Across the way is Alaska Seafood Grill. We'll go out here and see some of these boats. Again, I'm not going to go out on the dock. I think I'm allowed to, but I don't want to. So these boats go out in some crazy weather, just going out on a tour boat, which apparently wasn't even that bad. But kudos to these folks. And that's daring do.
It'd be a shame to get all that.
This is the William H. Seward Yacht Club. Could use a paint job maybe. It's been blasted quite a bit. Oh, it's the sound of a train. Sorry to be peeking at the lens again. Oh yeah, good. We're gonna go down to the train depot. I wasn't sure, I couldn't remember how much further it was, but it's totally within walkable distance. There's the Harbor 360. I assume that's a hotel. Again, these mountains are just kind of mind-blowing. I hope you get a sense of scale by watching this. We're coming up on the Smoke Shack, which I thought was like either a pot shop or a tobacco retailer. I believe that they are actually selling smoked fish, which would make a lot of sense. Maybe they live here. It's an old train car, or series of train cars. Food for the soul. Also the train wreck, which I guess sells bikes or rents bikes. There's a coffee house back there. Looks like a series of different shops. We're going to go up here to the train station. You can catch a scenic train ride from Anchorage. Ends up here. I think they run daily throughout the season. Try not to get run over here. And they time some of the tour boats so that you can, the train comes, you get a little bit of time to get over to the boat, and then you go out on your tour. You come back, and I believe the train goes back again, but I'm not sure. You can see that they have the observation cars. Oh, sorry about that. Just trying to get the water off and fogged you up. Very cool here. Get some mountains in the background. This might be our thumbnail, who knows. Awesome. Here's your, let's see if they have timetables. Yeah, southbound passenger train arrives Seward at 11:05. Northbound departs at 6 and arrives in Anchorage at 10:15. And I don't think this is the waiting room. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to go out here and show you some of these other observation cars. Kind of double deckers with a like I'm supposed to go past there. They do have a search. It's like some security screening, some cargo bins here, and you can see the Safeway in the distance, and then some more of the train cars. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining us today here in Seward, Alaska. Such a cool place. Next stop could be any of different places, but probably Homer, Alaska, as we make our way over there. We will see you then. Until then, keep on stepping.